Give me more. That's what makes you number one. Maggie Tango. Goodness, you're so different, girl. Give me more. That's what makes you number one. Yako aheri, dala nyakateri. Abipimpenzi, bimamadi. That's from D Major, the new album, Dala, the new EP coming out real soon. Recorded right here at Gweng Studios. D Major is a soul singer with several different influences, but the core of it is R&B. That's what I grew up listening to. That's what impacted me the most, I would say, growing up. But the name D Major is given to me by my younger brother. He was like, your first name starts with a D and you're musical, so call yourself D Major. And it was just straight to the point. This one time I tried to release my first record at Kiss FM. At the time, Shafi was working there. And it turned out there was another Jamaican artist called D Major. And at that point, people had already started to know me, began to know me as D Major. So it was a bit late to change. On a very personal level, it was my mom, because she was musical, but the only time you'd ever see her expressing that side of herself was in church with the church choir. So that's where it all began, really. For me, it's not just been recording at Gweng. It's Kisumu as a whole, which is why I decided to do an album and decided to name the album Dada. Like being here, being home, being in Kisumu has exposed me to more Luo. So it's made me want to expose my fans to more to that side of me, to show them that I appreciate my culture. I appreciate my language. That there's a certain sound I have when I sing in Luo, that I've noticed people can relate to, that they can appreciate. I create better when, in a nutshell, I'm at peace and there's darkness. For some reason, like past midnight or towards the break of dawn, it's like everything is processed in my mind. Everything that I listen to during the day and everything that I started to work on, like it just all comes together. My writing these days, especially since I left rehab, is more conscious. I write more about my experiences and from a very mature and deeper place, for lack of a better way to put it. So I love songstresses. I love chicks who've got amazing voices. And right now, off the top of my head, I'd say my favorite singer is Sage. She, the Neo Soul became a major influence along the way, especially in my high school days. And Sage sort of combined like this sort of Kenyan vibe with the Neo Soul and a jazzy sounding kind of sound. I think the best was, I wouldn't say because it was my best vocal performance, because vocally I was still growing at the time during my Project Fame days. What I appreciated about the coaches was that they'd give you a list of like about 10 songs of difficult songs that you've probably never even done. I mean, you rarely got to pick a song that you were familiar with or that you really liked. So my favorite performance, I don't think I killed it. I got better as I learned the song. My range grew. My ability to do different kinds of runs grew. Was Purple Rain by Prince, and that was a Chiengambura that picked that song for me. I remember from the list of like I think I chose 4 songs from that repertoire like that, and I'd never heard the song before, so I became a Prince fan instantly. In fact, I was ashamed of myself. I couldn't believe I didn't really know Prince's music. I was going to say the worst thing I've gone through as a person was losing my mom, but to be honest, I think all of us actually in a way were hurting. Yes, we were miserable in a sense, but we were just also glad that she was finally at peace. I think that the worst thing was watching her suffer. My mom wrote books, just stories that she created from scratch. The most popular book my mom ever wrote was The River and the Source, which was the first of a series, but that was the first one. And I particularly like that book. I love that book actually because it was partly based on her history. Or me personally, I have an addictive nature. And alcohol was something I picked up along the way. And it got bad. You know it's bad when, as an artist, you can't even step into the booth, into the studio, and write a song unless you're under the influence, or step onto a stage. And I'm a performer. Like a lot of my income came from live performances, you know, and just to lie to yourself that you're feeling, brave, or for lack of a better word right now, it's easier. You're more comfortable when you're under the influence, and I knew that's a bad thing. And I knew, this is something that needs to be addressed. That was around the time I remember Kantai passed away. He was also one of my favorite rappers, and he just happened to walk into the bar randomly that I used to frequent, and he just wasn't talking. And you could just see the guy was just terribly sad, and that's when you realize a lot of us out here are hurting and just not getting the help we need. And I was like, after hanging out with him that day, I was like, hey, it's either you fix this or you just you let it go. But just continuing in that state, like my body was a mess. I was seizing. I was just constant tummy aches and constant belly aches and headaches. I was just a mess. I couldn't even sing anymore. The thing I appreciate the most, that I love the most, I can't even do anymore. I was like, it's time to fix this. Yeah. This year, 2020, it's been a year of lessons. I think lessons, particularly for our generation to learn. Persevere is the word, I think. Just don't give up. Don't give up.
Where did you buy your underwear?
Well, I think that was before COVID. And
where? Not when. Where did you buy your underwear from?
In wholesale markets in Ogolla, somewhere in town.
Okay.
Yes, that was the last place.
Cool. We're done.